Welcome to the Scottish Rite Journal podcast, an audio presentation of the Scottish Rite Journal, brought to you by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. This week's article is The Gifts of Manley Palmer Hall, a visit to the Philosophical Research Society in Los Angeles, by Brother Roger Himmel, 32nd degree, KCCH, and comes from the March-April 2024 issue of the Scottish Rite Journal. Visiting Los Angeles, California, a city of a mind-boggling 503 square miles, can be intimidating due to its unending vastness. The seemingly forever freeways connecting to ever more valleys become a constant stop-and-go jigsaw jumble of blasting horns, tourist buses, and exhaust soot from diesel rigs downshifting. My wife and I were on our way to an oasis within the turbulence, the picturesque neighborhood of Los Feliz, home base of the most amazing Freemason I have ever come to appreciate. His name was Manley Palmer Hall, founder of the Philosophical Research Society, PRS. That was 12 years after he started writing a book about our fabulous Masonic fraternity and other ancient organizations called The Secret Teachings of All Ages. In addition to Freemasonry and the Hiramic legend, Hall covers an enormous variety of esoteric topics therein, including the life and teachings of Hermes Trismegistus, the Pythagorean theory of music and color, the Kabbalah, the initiation of the pyramid, and Native American symbolism. The visitor to the PRS library will learn much about the life of the legendary Masonic writer behind this seminal book. Illustrious Manley Palmer Hall, 33rd degree, Grand Cross, lived a Masonic life of truly astounding accomplishments. Hall was born in 1901 in the small Canadian town of Peterborough, Ontario. His father was a dentist. His mother was a chiropractor and an early member of Canada's first Rosicrucian Society. Unfortunately, his parents separated before his mother gave birth, and the infant was placed in the care of his maternal grandmother, Florence Palmer. He would never see his father, and he would not see his mother, who left Ontario for California until he was 18. His grandmother gave him love and support, especially a love of music, art, books, and travel. In fact, she was so important in his life that he wrote a book about her called Growing Up with Grandmother. Early in his life, the two traveled, mostly in the Midwest and Eastern United States, helped by a pension his grandmother received from her late husband's Civil War service. As a 2-year-old child, he barely survived the Black Pneumonia pandemic of 1903. His schooling and friendships were minimal. With so much city hopping, his best friends became books. He and his grandmother must have been quite a sight. An elderly matron dressed in black with a crocheted white lace collar and the young boy in knickers. Hall mentions that when he and his grandmother were in a Chicago hotel, he was befriended by a Hindu maître d'hôtel who taught him etiquette. When Hall was older, he and his grandmother traveled to Europe by steamship. The two also lived in New York City and, for a time, Hall was enrolled in military school. Without any close personal friends, he found solace in the cavernous New York Public Library, reading anything, especially esoterica. He visited bookstores and began his lifelong adventure of collecting books. His mind absorbed and organized their contents. He took copious notes. When he was older and his grandmother wanted him to sell fire insurance, he took a job as a bank teller. The job did not last long for such an inquisitive and scholarly soul. In late 1918, Mrs. Arthur Whitney Palmer, the woman who had protected him since birth and whom Hall referred to as my esteemed grandmother, died. Bereft, the 17-year-old Hall went to live in Oceanside, California, with members of the Rosicrucian Fellowship. On weekends, he began visiting a church in downtown Los Angeles named the Church of the People, and he soon gave sermons and polished his oratory. After a few years, his fame grew along with the church's membership, and he became an ordained minister. At that time, he became friends with Carolyn and Estelle Lloyd, a wealthy mother and daughter from Ventura, California, whose fortune came from oil and railroad interests. Their friendship was a turning point in his life, for they provided the funds for the 20-year-old to visit European capitals and libraries. It was there that he discovered rare books and ancient manuscripts. He purchased, read, and remembered them, learning about Masonry, Hinduism, Greek philosophy, and sundry other topics. When the young Hall returned to Los Angeles, he wrote and rewrote the information found in ancient texts. It took him 6 years to complete his masterful work of literature. The book was entitled An Encyclopedic Outline of Masonic, Hermetic, Kabbalistic, and Rosicrucian Symbolical Philosophy, being an interpretation of the secret teachings concealed within the rituals, allegories, and mysteries of the ages. He was 27 years old. Today, this work is known as The Secret Teachings of All Ages. First published in 1928, this awesome 245-page self-published tome has sold millions of copies and includes 47 full-color illustrations by Brother J. Augustus Knapp, 32nd degree. It consists of 45 chapters and a large slip-covered format, measuring 12 inches wide by 19 inches high, and weighs more than 15 pounds. The second limited King Solomon edition is the most requested book in the House of the Temple's library, according to Brother Stuart C. Poole, 32nd degree, in his online article, What is the most requested or asked about book in the Temple's library? Hall used the success of the book to raise money to build an administrative center in Los Angeles where he would spend the rest of his life working, writing, and giving lectures. He called his Mayan-styled complex the Philosophical Research Society, PRS. The center consists of the library, offices, classrooms, and a gift shop. A 300-seat auditorium was added in 1959. On each Sunday morning, Hall would sit in his large commanding chair, flowers next to his side, and keep the hushed overflow audience spellbound with an extemporaneous lecture. The impressive 2-story PRS library remains the heart of the organization. Today, more than 50,000 volumes of books collected by Manley Palmer Hall remain. The Getty Research Institute acquired some rare books and manuscripts from the library in 1995. Many of these have been digitized and placed online for the world to view. It is called the Manley Palmer Hall Collection of Alchemical Manuscripts. The Getty inventory spans the years 1500 through 1825. The books on a variety of belief systems stored behind glass cases as well as artifacts from the various religions reflect Illustrious Hall's statement in his book The Lost Keys of Freemasonry. The true Mason is not creed-bound, realizing with his truer understanding the oneness of all spiritual truth. Brother Hall was able to collect most of Brother Albert Pike's philosophical and Masonic writings. Illustrious Hall wrote the preeminent book about Masonry 26 years before he became a Freemason. He was raised on November 22, 1954, at what was then Jewel Lodge No. 374, later renamed United Lodge, in San Francisco. Hall joined the Scottish Rite in 1955. Also in San Francisco, receiving his 33rd degree on December 8, 1973. On October 18, 1985, a Western Union mailgram from his friend SGC Henry C. Clausen informed him that he had been nominated and elected by the Supreme Council to receive the Grand Cross. In his lifetime, Illustrious Hall gave more than 8,000 lectures, wrote more than 150 books and essays, and delivered 2 sold-out speeches at New York's Carnegie Hall. From humble beginnings in a small Canadian town and emotional abandonment from both parents, he somehow found grace and meaning in the ineffable and wrote what many scholars today consider the most profound compendium on spirituality and mysticism ever written. The Sanctum Sanctorum of Freemasonry is ornamented with the Gnostic jewels of 1,000 ages. Its rituals ring with the divinely inspired words of seers and sages, writes Illustrious Hall in the Secret Teachings of All Ages. For Freemasonry is a worldwide university, teaching the liberal arts and sciences to the soul of all who will hearken to its words. The visitor to the PRS in Los Angeles, especially under the kind guidance of PRS librarian Kelly Carmena, will gain a better understanding of the man who furthered Masonic enlightenment in our world with his inestimable gifts. Like and share this article, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you wish to comment, please leave one, and as a reminder, hit the notifications bell. Any accompanying photographs or citations for this article can be found in the corresponding print edition. The Scottish Rite Journal is published by the Supreme Council of the Scottish Rite, Southern Jurisdiction, Mother Supreme Council of the World. Mark Dreisenstock, 33rd degree, Managing Editor. I'm your host, Matt Bowers.